Hey guys, we are back at it again. This is yours truly, Jimmy Williams, founder and president of JW Acquisitions and Development and JW Academy and JW Funding Group. And you guys, most of you, you see me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and you're in my Facebook group. I always like to start out by saying congratulations to all of you guys for your hard work. Without you, we wouldn't be at about 17,000 members. I always say that because everyone needs to know how important they are, no matter how small or big they are, how many deals they've done, if they have done none. You know, you guys are the reason my wife and I are actually doing what we're doing because we're all about the purpose-driven life, okay? Doing things the right way and doing things according to purpose. And I pray that you all find your purpose in life, you know, so you can begin to walk in it and you'll be happier because of it. I have a very awesome piece of information I want to share with you today regarding Airbnb, okay? You're going to want to grab your pen and your piece of paper, you know, or your notebook. I always tell you to get one of these. Take notes, be very specific when you write down your notes. That way it doesn't slip your mind, okay? And the best time to look at your notes is when you wake up in the morning, the first 30 minutes, that's when your brain waves move really quickly and it gets down into your subconscious mind. So the stuff I'm going to give you today can very well make you a millionaire within 1 to 2 years from now. Okay, that's why it's so important for you to take notes and then take action. Take notes, meditate, game plan, take action. That's it. There's no secret formula to it, okay? So let's get right into this. I always like to have a little joke or tell you guys something about myself because again, you know, I like to be very personal with you guys. You know, just to let you know, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes, had a lot of failures, lost a lot of money, made some money, and did some things. So, you know, I want you to know that I'm relatable. I'm just like you in a lot of ways, okay? If you're white, my skin might be black. If you're, you know, if you're rich, you know, I'm not quite rich yet. If you're poor, I'm not quite poor either. You know what I mean? I wouldn't sit and tell you that I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm getting there as I help more people. And I want you guys to get there with me. But my point is I want to be relatable to you, okay? I've had a lot of things happen, bad and good. And I'm sure some of you have had the same thing. So it's always good to kind of tell a joke or tell you something personal about me to relate. So a lot of you don't know this about me, but you know, I'm 44 years old, by the way. My wife, you know, I can't tell her age because she'll get on my case. But I'm 44 years old, and when she first met me back in New York in 2009, we've been together ever since. She said, "Jimmy, you're an old man in a young man's body." I said, "Why do you say that?" She said, "Look at you. You know, you wear these type of shoes." And she bought me these shoes, by the way. But I always liked the wingtip. See that? The wingtip shoes. You know. I said, "Well, yeah, I'm more like a Harlem Renaissance guy." And when she met me, I had, you know, the pinstripe suits. And she said, "You know, Jimmy, you just look so much older for a guy who's 30 years." I was about 30 at the time. Well, early 30s, you know, so about 32, 33, somewhere in there. And she said, "You know, what is it with you?" I said, "I don't know. It's just my personality." And so a lot of you guys didn't know that about me, but I'm an old school guy, you know what I mean, with a new school swag. I mean, I'm very futuristic. I do think a lot of times I think about the future, the wave of the future, where it's going. However, some of my characteristics, some of the things about me, my integrity, the things, the way I do things, I'm kind of like my grandfather. He's from way back. I told you guys he's my first mentor. So he's the guy that kind of got me into that mindset. But that's who I am. And you know, some of you may not be that way, but that's me. You know, I love the wingtip shoes. I like to wear all black sometimes, you know, and I like the pinstripe suits, you know, and I like my little Malcolm X looking glasses, you know, I think they're pretty cool. You know what I mean? This is just me. So and a lot of people say, "Jimmy, you look like Malcolm X." So, hey, Malcolm is one man. I'm a different man. Okay. I'm here to help educate you guys, all of you, no matter who you are, what background you come from, on how to create true wealth, long-lasting wealth that's going to be there for generations to come. All right. So that's what I want you to know first. So with that being said, let me just get right into this. And we're going to talk about one of the waves of the future. Again, this is one of the waves of the future. Write this down. And it's called Airbnb. Currently, it's creating a lot of millionaires. And I'm going to be the first one to say this. A lot of the things I'm going to share with you today, I learned from one of my mentors, master mentors. His name is Jim Graham out of Rochester, New York. Him and I were born in the same state. And I met him a few months back, and I did a video with him. You guys might have saw it. And some of my students have actually taken this program, and they're taking this program currently, and they're doing very well with it. So some of the things I'm going to say is it's credit to him. So you'll see, you know, I'm going to tag him in this. And if you want to get started with his Airbnb program to start figuring out how to implement some of the strategies I'm going to share with you, you want to talk to him. All right, so let me get into this. All right, so first thing I want to tell you about Airbnb is, they're going to go public within 12 to 24 months. All right, and when they go public, they're going to be worth about $100 billion or more. What does that mean to you? If you get into Airbnb now and get yourself 15 to 20 properties, and you're able to you lease those properties out and you fill them up with tenants, or you have them on the Airbnb website, and people are coming in and out of town. They're leasing renting your properties out for a couple of days here and there, and you get booked out. You have 10 or 15 or 20 properties, you'll be a millionaire, because you can make profit on each property anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 to $5,000 per month. Do the math on that. Just $2,000 a month, being conservative, on 10 properties is $20,000 a month. 99% of the people in this country don't make that kind of money. 20 properties, do the math, you're looking at $40K per month. All right? And here's the powerful thing about it. You don't have to own the properties. That's the mystery of Airbnb most people don't talk about. You don't have to go out and buy and hold the property and then start doing Airbnb or rent it out to someone else. You can lease it, okay? So the first tip I'm going to give you about Airbnb, again, it's going to be worth $100 billion, okay? So if you guys don't get in 1 to 2 years, and then it gets saturated 2 years later, it's going to be hard to get into it. So now is the time. But let me just give you one of the biggest tips and tricks I know. I just talked about it, but I'm going to write it up here, that most people don't understand about Airbnb. You do not have to own the home. However, you have to lease the property, all right? So that's number one. So you lease it, okay? If the seller is willing to let you, or the person who owns it is willing to let you lease it, okay? So what you're looking for is, number two, you're looking for motivated leasers, people who leasers. Sounds funny saying that. Not sellers, because maybe they want to hold their property another 10 years. They don't want to let you have the property. But if you could somehow work a deal out with them where they'll say, you know what, I'm willing to actually let you lease it, and then you can sublease or do whatever you want. As long as you give me my money every month, we're good. I don't care what you do to keep my property in good condition. I don't have to know what's going on there. Just make sure you pay me my money. Now Coach Jim told me this, and this is a true story. He said he has one, and this is just an example. He has a property, so that's most important. He says he has a property. Okay, I'm going to put a property here just so you can see it. It's a building, a home. I think it's a home. I'm not too much of an artist right now, guys. Okay, and that property, he's leasing it for $1,800 a month from the owner. Okay, that's what Coach Jim is leasing it for. Let's put his name here. Coach Jim's leasing it. All right. However, Coach Jim turns around and he leases out, well, not leases, but he rents out the rooms through Airbnb. Okay. And he's grossing about $6,800 a month. Do the math on that, guys. How much money is he making? I'm almost afraid to say it out loud. And this is just one property. All right. So he's making $5,000 a month in profit. Well, mind you, he does not own it. He doesn't own the property. Let me go over that again. He leased the property from an owner. The owner said, okay, I'll lease it to you for 2 years. Sometimes they'll give you a year, sometimes 2 years. Coach Jim says, no problem. The leasing amount is $1,800 a month. Now, the owner who owns it, he's probably paying anywhere from $500 to $800 a month, mortgage or whatever it is, or $1,000. He puts $800 in his pocket. But the person who's making the biggest profit here is the guy who's leasing it, because this guy has total control to go in there. Let's say it has 5 rooms in it, okay? And he's renting those rooms for $100 a night. All right? So let's say you rent one room for 10 days. That's $1,000 just for 10 days for the month. But it's got 5 rooms. 5 rooms times $1,000 or 10 days is $5,000. So here's the power of Airbnb. You don't have to have everybody in there every single day. They can go in there for 10 days out of the month for 5 different rooms. That's the power of this thing. And you can do it nationwide. Now, you know, that's not typical. Most people are not going to make 5,000 on a property, but I guarantee you, you can find deals like this. But, you know, the bare minimum you'll make profit is anywhere from, I would say, $1,000 to $3,000, $3K per month profit. And all you need to do then is learn how to scale your business. All right. So let me just tell you a couple things about this that you need to know that most people don't talk about. Okay. Because, you know, there's the pros and cons of this thing, and I'm wrapping up. All right. So I hope you got that. If you have to rewind it, go back over it, take your time, go over it again, do what you got to do. Okay, guys? I just want to encourage you that there's lots of ways to make money out there. And Airbnb is really, really hot right now. And it's going to be hot probably for the next 20 to 50 years. Okay, if you can get on board when you're supposed to. All right. Here's something that they're not talking about. There are certain regions where you cannot do Airbnb. Okay, certain cities, there's certain laws. Just for example, I heard this from one of my colleagues. Her name is Dr. LaConte Bryant. If you guys look at the top up there on my banner, you'll see her and her husband up there. And they're in Austin, Texas. They're in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And you know, they're becoming realtors and they're agents right now, and they're investors and they're travel agents. But they said that in Austin, certain parts of Austin, Texas, the answer is, in most areas near downtown, it's a big no-no. They won't let you do Airbnb. And I think the reason for that is it would hurt their bottom line, their business. They probably have some business owners, some real estate investors down there that whenever they have major events, you know, because, you know, Austin, Texas is like one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And it's a hub for when it comes to music. You know, music artists come into town and big events. So they plan on making money from those events. So if Airbnb comes in and takes it over, you know, that it's going to hurt their business. That's my assumption. And there are certain states that, you know, certain areas in those states that you can't do that. I'm going to shift gears here, but it happens. It's the same thing with some of you guys who are wholesaling. Now, as much as I love wholesaling, I'm going to highly recommend you shift to Airbnb. Okay. But what I was going to say is in Illinois last year, they created a law that any wholesaler if they get caught doing a deal without a license, a real estate license, they can get sued or fined, and then in some cases go to jail. So laws are changing. You need to know what's going on. So the first thing I would tell you to do is, you know, I would talk to Coach Jim. Okay. Again, I'll leave his number at the top and I'll tag him, so you can find out what the laws are, and that's probably, you know, laws and do's and don'ts of this, because there's some do's and don'ts. Okay. Because you want to follow those laws, and so you don't get yourself in any kind of trouble. But I'm telling you right now, he has an amazing program, and he goes into a lot of deep things about Airbnb that most people don't talk about. All right, this guy has over 700 properties of his own. A ton of those properties, you know, he helps the homeless. So some of those properties, he has homeless people in them. He gives back to his community, and he came out of retirement. Listen to this, because his daughter came out of college and wanted to know more about, you know, how could she follow her dad's footsteps. And he came out of retirement to help her. He really didn't need to do that. Come on, somebody that owns that many properties, guys. All right. He does not really need to do this. So I'm going to recommend that you guys contact him and get involved. Okay. The last thing I'll tell you about Airbnb is the biggest thing I just said it earlier is you don't have to own. You don't have a handwriting's not the best. Own the property. The biggest problem with most of you guys out there, you get frustrated with fix and flip a lot of times. You know, you got to find a property, fix it up, you got to wait for it to sell again. Okay, I told you another alternative to that would be double closing. You don't sit there and try to fix it up. You just find a way to put that property in your LLC and get it at a good deal. Turn around and you flip it in 90 not 90 days, and about 72 hours in 3 days, you sell it to an end buyer Okay, but you have to hide it in your LLC to do that, and you make your profit in there, so you don't have to hold that property and fix it up and all that. You just turn around and you flip it to someone else within 3 days, but you have to put that property in your LLC and find a company that does double closings. Okay, that's the fastest way to do those. But if you don't do that, you know, and it's not the easiest thing to do, okay, because it's hard to find the right property. This is what you want to do because you don't own the property. And here's how you go. How you, in closing, you want to go to places like Craigslist, place ads in newspapers. I teach this over and over again. People are not getting it, but I have people consistently getting results. Go to Craigslist, go into the real estate section, find motivated renters who cannot find people, you know, who have the qualifications to rent their property. You tell them, hey, listen, I'll rent the property. Give me 30. Sometimes in some cases, they'll say, you know, well, what can you pay first, last, and security, whatever. You can tell them, listen, I know how to get rent. I know how to get people in there. I know how to sublease. I'm very good at it. And I promise you, you'll get your money. Some of them, very few of them, will say, okay, I'll give you 30 days to keep your word on it, sign a contract on it. And you can get people in there to rent it, you know, through Airbnb, get it listed properly, and you pay him his money, you put him or her money, him or them their money, pardon me, and you make a profit, you're in business. But Craigslist and newspaper advertising, you could do some Facebook advertising. I would stay away from the Facebook groups, but I would do Facebook pay-per-click or something like that to find motivated renters. Okay, guys, if you do this right, there's no way, it's impossible not to get yourself anywhere from 10 to 20 properties over the next 18 months. Okay, yielding you a profit of I'm being very conservative here, 1 to 3K per month. Okay, what does that mean to you? 10 properties at $1,000 a month, that's 10K per month. 10 properties at 3K per month, that's 30K. Okay? That's just with 10 properties. I didn't say 20. You want to act on this immediately. Again, rewind this, do whatever you have to do, write it down. Take action, okay? I'm going to leave Coach Jim's information so you guys can contact him directly. Again, he's on my JW Acquisitions team. He's one of our leaders up there. And you guys know me. I don't put anyone up top there in my groups unless I know their integrity and I know they keep their word and they're good at what they're doing. They teach the right things and they have the right ethics. This guy gets results. He's a multimillionaire already. He doesn't really need students, but he wants to give back and help. All right. You can contact him and say, hey, listen, I saw Jimmy's video. He talked a lot about you. And I want to know more about this Airbnb and how it really works. You can take some of this information and apply it yourself without calling him. I'm not telling you have to do that, but he's more of an expert than I am. I just know enough to tell you where the future is going with Airbnb. I know you guys love wholesaling, but if you've been doing wholesaling 1 to 2 years and you're still struggling, you got to make a change. I always tell you, change your mind, you know, grow your mind, or you're going to work your behind. Bottom line, I hope you got something out of this, okay? I hope you have a blessed day. I have a few more videos to make today, but this is the most important one. I wanted to get this out there for you. Let's make it happen, okay? And as I always say, I'll see you guys up here at the top, not the bottom, up here. Bye-bye.